I just saw something on someone's status saying, "What has no root in heaven grows no fruit on earth." That's John 15, verse 5, and it resonated with me. A lot of times we think that we can tell God how to do his business. A lot of times we think that we can tell God how to operate, basically. He says A and we say B, and we're asking him to work with it. We make our plans and we go about our business and we just ask him to bless it, not knowing that if it's not of his will, it's not going to bear any fruit. If it's not of his will, it makes no sense. Let me tell you something. That job that you're in, that the Lord did not place you in, guess what? You're bearing no fruit there. You're not there because the Lord wants you there. You're there because of self. That relationship that you're in that is against the will of God. God said that this is for you, but you're in another relationship. You're in another situation. You're bearing no fruit there. It will bear no fruit. Yes, you might go along and it feels great and everything, but guess what? You're bearing no fruit there. You understand? Until you align yourself to the will of God, there is no fruit that will be brought forth. What is situated in heaven, what is created in heaven, let me tell you something. Anything that is in alignment with the will of God, God already planned it for your life. It is already written down in heaven. It's already written down in the spiritual. And it's only to manifest in the physical. So your job, your future spouse, the home that you should have, everything is already written down according to the will of God. For before he formed you in your mother's womb, He had a purpose for you, He had a plan for you, one which will prosper you and not to harm you, which will give you an expected hope and a future. So this is it. Are you walking in alignment with the will of God? Do you think that you can walk against the will of God and still bear fruit? Do you think that you can go against the will of God and still bear fruit? Think about it. John 15 verse 5 says, what was not written down in heaven will not bear fruit. Hallelujah. If you're not walking in alignment with the will of God, don't expect for you to bear fruit. Don't expect for everything to be all right with you. Yes, the devil might not be attacking you as he attacked the other Christians. But guess what? Sooner or later, expect the judgment of God, because you're not in the will of God. And especially if you know that this is what the Lord wants you to do and you're going against that, just know that eventually the judgment of God is going to fall upon you. Then there's no fruit on earth. Repeat it to yourself and tell yourself that stick with what God says. The job that God says that you're supposed to be in, go there, despite of what it might cost you. It might not look like a lot of money, but the fact that God said it, that means that you will bear fruit. From this will come great fruit. If it's not rooted in heaven, do not expect for it to bear fruit. Do not expect for it to be a blessing to you, to others. Disobedience unto God brings curse, but obedience to God brings blessing. If you read Deuteronomy 28, thank you. Deuteronomy 28, it speaks of the blessings that comes with the obedience to God. Of you being the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, a royal priesthood, giving and never borrowing. Your enemies, you will have dominion over your enemies. Literally, they will come in one direction and they will go back in many different directions. Yes. If it is not rooted in heaven, don't expect it to bear fruit. And yes, you might think that you are doing this to spite God, but guess what? You can never flex on God, because He is the creator. He knows the beginning and the end. He knows when He's going to call judgment. Do you think you can spite a God like that? Oh, never. You can never spite a God like that. It's simply self-sabotage when you're walking against the will of God and thinking that you're doing yourself the best and you're doing God or somebody else the worst. You can never flex on God. You can never flex on God. So therefore, walk in alignment with the will of God. Walk in alignment with the will of God. You can never flex on God. If it's not rooted in heaven, it will not bear fruit. Strive for the path that will bear fruit, and that is aligning yourself with the will of God. Lord bless you.